Hi, I'm Dana Litwin, CVA, and today I'm talking about advocacy for our profession as leaders of volunteers. And this is a subject that is very near and dear to my heart, literally not just on my t-shirt, but near and dear to my heart throughout my career, and particularly for the last 10 years. So I think advocacy as a topic is important to approach from two really kind of crucial angles: the national angle or international angle, as volunteer leadership as a real profession, as a real career track, whether that's an academic track through universities and promoting that, but also just promoting, like with recently the US Department of Labor, there was a big push by Alive to have it recognized as a listed job item. I participated in that project, and to me, the advocacy also kind of can make the most impact on a personal level when leaders of volunteers within their organization feel empowered to really show their value, and they have the tools and the data and the resources provided to advocate for themselves and their career within their organizations up to leadership, and ideally become part of the leadership team. And what I have learned by advocating is quite a lot. I've learned how to do it for myself. I've learned how to teach other people, leaders of volunteers, how to do it through workshops and webinars and one-on-one mentoring. But I think in a more and more data-driven world, it's crucial to give the tools in a toolbox to folks to advocate for themselves. So it's not quite enough to say, hey, I'm doing a good job and my department has the most head count, pay attention to me. We really have to be specific and scientific about this and gather data with volunteer management software that's qualitative and quantitative, and it's very important for us to be able to make the case to organizational leadership, to larger organizations, whether that's a local nonprofit that we're working for or a government agency, that this is a real profession and it takes real expertise like having a CVA to do the job very, very well. I'm a huge supporter of advocacy of the CVA itself. I've personally mentored a number of people with the Alive mentorship program and in more informal ways over the years, and highly, highly encouraged folks to get their CVA. Anytime I have a chance to talk to a colleague who is curious about getting their CVA credential or just advancing their career in general, one of my most popular webinars is Carve Your Own Path, about advocating for our profession and your career internally in your organization and externally. And I think how I encourage other volunteer management professionals to advocate for themselves and their projects and their professions is to record what you're doing, write it down, get the data. How many volunteers have increased? What percentage of people have increased as volunteers with your organization? How has your CVA credential helped with getting a raise and getting promotion? And I have many, many, many dozens of personal anecdotal stories about that. And of course, my dear friend and colleague Toby Johnson does quantitative studies of that with her yearly survey on that topic. But I think that it's going to be absolutely crucial in 2025 and beyond, with threats to democracy, threats to individual freedoms, threats to our profession, threats to nonprofit status here in the USA and abroad, that we have to advocate. The personal has to become political in our careers, and advocacy for the professionalism, for getting a CVA or other kinds of degrees and certificates that prove that you really need to know what you're doing when you're leading volunteers, managing volunteers, creating programs, running any kind of administration. It's a very unique and special skill set that's a combination of creative and personal relationship building and data gathering, information gathering, and sorting that out. So in a world that's increasingly driven by bots and AI and non-human automated interactions, I think it's more important than ever to center the humanity in ourselves, center empathy, center compassion, advocate for yourself and your career, advocate for helping others in every situation that you possibly can, and get your CVA. You get a really cool t-shirt when you do that. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope that this encourages others to further your own professional development, as I have had so much success in my career. And I want to talk about specifically the work of the National Alliance for Volunteer Engagement, and what was created out of that is the Initiative for Strategic Volunteer Engagement. So that's a very specific bunch of research and recommendations that is a fantastic tool to advocate for your profession and the value of volunteers and the reason to invest and get a return on investment in volunteer services and volunteer engagement. The Initiative for Strategic Volunteer Engagement started with the National Alliance and the Do Good Institute, and now it's grown to the point that we've handed it over to independent sector, who you've probably heard about for a lot of their fantastic research. And we'll continue to grow and continue to help with the advocacy for leaders of volunteers in our profession with independent sector. And you can look all of that up if you want to check out the links. And I hope that I help inspire others to have a constant culture of learning, speaking up for themselves, speaking truth to power, and advocating for the professionals that we are, and for our profession to be formally recognized by departments of labor and universities and any other kind of institution that helps shore up that legitimacy and data-driven results that, hey, when you invest in volunteers, you get a really, really good return on investment, and you get so much more back than the money that you put into it. Have a great day with much aloha. Take care.